Well, it happened. One of those things that you just can't control when your recording software messes up the recording and doesn't give you the full game. You have some bits and pieces, some from the end, some from the middle, and some from the beginning, but not the whole thing, and you end up losing out on an entire video. So instead, we're going to tack this on to the beginning of a video and get into the next week, which would be our bye week, and then next week after that, which is the Green Bay Packers. So we'll kind of be doing two games in this episode, but as you see here, we had our second loss of the season, and it was a bad one. It was not a good game whatsoever, so maybe the fact that the recording isn't here any longer is maybe a good thing. Save you guys some trouble, but we'll talk a little bit about the game. As we see here in the box score, Falcons took the first quarter. They scored 10. We didn't score at all. Opposite in the second quarter, we end up taking the lead, 14-10. Third quarter, we get a touchdown, only give up a field goal. But after that, it went downhill and went downhill quick. The offense couldn't do anything, and the defense couldn't stop anything. The Falcons end up putting up 13 in the fourth quarter and take the game 26-21. And when you look at the stats here, offensive yards gained, they had more than double what we had. Rushing yards, they almost had more than double. They almost had double. Passing yards, they had more than double, almost triple the amount of passing yards that we did. First downs had almost 4 times the amount. We didn't have any punt return yards. Not that that is necessarily a factor. As the kick return yards, we had more than 4 times theirs, but we still lost. Total yards gained, they had 400. We had 261, so a big difference there. Turnovers, we had 2, and those did cost us in this game. We did force 1, so that's nice, but wasn't good enough, obviously. They converted on a bunch of 6 third downs. We did get a 4th down conversion, but red zone percentage, we did good there. That was definitely a positive, but they also did pretty good as well, with 75% there. They scored 2 touchdowns in the red zone, so did we, but they also got a field goal in the red zone. We did not. Penalty yards, basically a non-factor in this game, but time of possession, they had about double the amount of time with possession in this game than we had, and that was a big factor. Take a look at the stats, and the first big one that you're going to see here, Saunders had an awful game. He only had a 42.5 quarterback rating, only threw for 105 yards, had a touchdown, 2 interceptions. He was only sacked once, which is fine, but let's find his completion percentage, 28%. And not all of those were bad passes. A lot of those were passes that were broken up or us having to throw out of sacks, things like that, where just nothing quite seemed to work for us. We go past there. Cordero Patterson just destroyed us in this game. We couldn't do anything against him. Dalvin Cook was under 3 yards a carry. Saunders did have a 22-yard rush, but not really much past that. Take a look at the receiving. Cordero Patterson had another 26. You see him down here at the bottom. Had another 26 yards. Beyond that, Kyle Pitts was hard for us to cover at all. He plays a lot of underneath, and we've struggled with the underneath coverage. Past Pitts, Gage also had a really good game. Ridley scored twice on us. Thielen had 2 big catches. That's about it. Another one of their receivers had 50 yards. Jefferson had 1 catch. It did go for a touchdown. It was a really, really nice play, but didn't end up really mattering much. But yeah, we just really couldn't stop anything that they tried to do, whether it was rushing or passing. When it comes to the defensive side, take a look at the sacks here. Daniil did get 2, Wanham had 2, Kendricks had 1. So we got a lot of sacks in this game, 5 to be exact, but it didn't translate to a win. In terms of forcing turnovers, we got destroyed by A.J. Terrell Jr. In the Bills game, we destroyed a corner that was wearing number 24. In this game, the corner that was wearing 24 destroyed us. We really struggled to get completions on him, run past him on rushing plays, or anything. And he ended up having, I believe, the pick that basically sealed our defeat in this game. And unfortunately, with this loss, our second loss, we ended up losing the number one spot in the NFC, our number one seed. So we're currently slated to be in the wild card. Don't know why it took me so long to remember that. We're currently slated to be in the wild card. We're in the number two seed, but we went behind Seattle, who basically has the same record as us, at least at this point in the season. I've played some games previous, so since this is a future bit of the recording. But yeah, Seattle is in front of us at this point in time. We had the same record, but they probably just didn't lose to someone who we lost to. That gave them the edge. So we're fighting back to get that number one spot. Now, of course, there were some other things that I do have from the original recording that I will throw in. We talked a bit about focus players in the scouting. We had 3 that we got to choose from. And then we had a little bit from the end of the recording. So I'll throw that in as well if necessary. But yeah, I'll throw in the scouting bit, maybe a little bit from after that game. But then we're going to get into the game of this episode, which is the rivalry game against the Green Bay Packers. As we are in week 11, we have some important things we need to take care of this week, and that is the focus scouting. Now, we've talked a bit the past couple episodes about the poor depth on this team, and that really comes down to the cornerback and linebacker spots, also safety as well. And those are my 3 focus areas this year. Of course, we have a lot of other positions we would like to improve in as well. But basically what we're going to be doing here is choosing a corner, a linebacker, and a safety to all be a focus scout for us. Unfortunately, it doesn't give us the option to look into these guys a little bit more. Like while in the screen, you can only really choose. So we're going to choose Quan Bigsby, the 6 foot, 180 pound corner from Oklahoma. We're also going to be choosing Sam Schaefer from Kansas State. He's 6 foot, 220 pounds. He's a second, third round guy, but he has really good coverage ability, so he'll be another one. And lastly, we're going to choose a safety out of Arizona State, Harvey Keenan. He's 5'11", 213 pounds. In the first and second round, we have 65% completion percentage on him, so hopefully this will boost that. Of course, you never actually know if you're going to get anything extra from these guys after the focus scouting. More often than that, I don't really see any completion percentage go up, but we'll try it. Hopefully we get one of them. Like I said, that's going to be the cornerback, Quan Bigsby, linebacker, Sam Schaefer, and safety, Harvey Keenan. And following that loss, we did have an upgrade to Danielle Hunter. Just put it into his finesse rushing. And now we're going to check on our scouting to see if those invites that we sent out or focus players end up going up at all. And we do see with strong savvy, Keenan Harvey, they went up to 95 completion percentage. So we'll take a look. Let's see if that helps us out at all. We have A for awareness and catching, so we know that he could end up forcing some turnovers, which is nice. B, tackling, not awful for a safety. The same with play rec. However, only C zone coverage, and we don't know hit power. Block shedding is only a C. Not sure if I would view him more as a second, maybe a late second, early third, probably what I'm thinking with the coverage where it is. However, some of the other abilities might bump him up a little bit. Take a look at the physical standpoints, and just not bad. Good to great speed, probably what you would expect for a strong safety. Good to great strength, it's fantastic. Change of direction, great to elite. So he has some decent attributes there. I would probably view him as a later second round pick, just for me personally. And over at corner, Quan Bigsby, he was one of the ones that we focused on. Doesn't go up at all. I was really curious about him because he has good hit power, especially for a corner. Awareness is a little bit low, but we didn't find out any information on any of the coverage. Zone, man, press, any of that we don't really know. Awareness is a little low at C, but he's a pretty good athlete, which is why I was curious about him. Hopefully we could find some more information. Good height, could be a little bit heftier, but we'll end up seeing. We might have him be one of the focus players in the offseason as well. See if we could find some more information on him. And following in Bigsby, our favorite linebacking prospect that I've found so far, Sam Schaefer, also didn't go up, still at that 40%. But with that 40%, we do have some good information. A, zone coverage, B, man coverage, and B, play rec. D stamina is a little bit weird. Not sure how much that would affect him from the physical standpoint. I mean, dude is fantastic. He's got speed, he's got strength, he's got agility. He could be a fantastic cover linebacker for us. Would definitely consider him in maybe late second. I think early third would be pushing it with him. I think he would end up going before then. So second round is most likely where we would see Sam Schaefer. And that's about all the information that we're really going to have between now and the offseason in terms of scouting. We're really not going to see much go up in between then. But if I find any other players that I think might be gems, I'll definitely let you guys know. I'm going to run through the quick bye-week stuff here. We'll get on over to the Week 13 where we'll be facing off against the Packers, who we are now up 3 games. Technically 2 games because they've only had... There are only 2 losses behind us, but we have 3 more wins. They'll probably just have to play another game while we have our bye week to help them catch up. But yeah, we'll run through that, and then we'll get to Week 13. And now simming over to Week 13, we're getting a bit of a look here at the playoffs for this next season. We're currently, somehow the Seahawks have been given the number 1 spot, even though we were 2 games up on them. Kind of curious there. So need to check that out. Right now they have us at the number 2 spot, so we wouldn't be getting that bye week, but we could see some of the opponents here. The Packers are somehow in after not having a great start to their season. We have some of the guys from this actual current in real life season with San Francisco and the Cowboys. Also have the Panthers and the Saints, so Saints making a bit of a comeback. Over on the AFC, the Bengals have the first round bye currently with Raiders and Chiefs, Jaguars and Titans, and the Jaguars in this fictional season or previous season, they actually went to the Super Bowl and played against the Cowboys and lost. The Titans are in, the Patriots and Miami is also in. So a bit of a new look here. Some other teams in, some of the same teams in as well, but definitely want to check on the standings to see why the Seahawks are given that first round bye. And when we check the NFL standings here, we see the Seahawks actually at number 1. I could have sworn, because we simmed 2 weeks, so they must have won both of those. We lost our first week and then didn't play last week, so now the Seahawks have come in and jumped us. I'm curious on if we play them this year. And taking a look through our schedule, the Seahawks are not on it. I feel like we typically play them about every year, but they're not on the schedule this year. So we'll most likely be seeing them in the playoffs if one of us is able to get past that first round, the wild card round. But yeah, to finish out the rest of the season, this next game will be against the Packers, and we'll finish up against the Dolphins, who are currently in the playoffs, 49ers, who are currently in the playoffs. The Bears are not. The Patriots are, and I don't believe the Eagles were. So a majority of our games, or about half of our games, majority of our games will be against current in where we are in the season NFL playoff teams. So a lot to go forward. Hopefully the bye week was a good rest for our team. And the way I kind of do the bye weeks is I have all the backups do the practice, basically. I leave out our starting squad, and then during the normal weeks, I have it split. Besides Dalvin, he does not practice. That way he doesn't get injured. And every now and then Saunders is out and have the backup practice just so his stamina stays up. But yeah, next week, rivalry game, Green Bay Packers, Minnesota. We went into Lambeau week 1 and beat the Packers. Started their season off rough. They had a 3-game skid, and then since then, they've won 6 games, lost 2, so a much better season for them after week 3. So it'll be a tough competition. Welcome everybody to Week 13 U.S. Bank Stadium rivalry. Rivalry week. Wow, as Aaron Rodgers and the Packers come to town, and we are going to run through a quick update before we get into this game. As we get into the second half of the season, obviously want to talk a bit about what we're going to do after this season, going into next season, and a big part of that is re-signing players or not re-signing players. And we'll go through each one so you can see who all is available to be re-signed. Devin McCourty, Jason Verrett, and Brian Poole. Also, if we scroll towards the end here, LaMarcus Joyner. So basically all of our defensive back group is up to be re-signed, all but Dantzler. And Dantzler, I'm still not even certain about his future. So we have a lot of work to do here with our defensive backs. Now, the safeties haven't had a bad season. The corners, Verrett and Poole, have had hit or miss seasons, which is very common for the Vikings. But McCourty's 35. Most likely we're going to need to find a replacement for him because he's either going to retire or his stats are going to drop. Verrett, most likely his stats are going to drop, and he hasn't played too well, and he's asking currently for about $9 million a season. McCourty's asking for about $10 million a season. Brian Poole, a little bit younger, but again, most likely will still regress, and his speed already isn't that good. We've seen him get burned quite often. So for $6 million currently, not looking too solid for him. Most likely for these three guys, I'm going to wait until free agency, see if they're still available, how much they dropped, or just wait for our re-signing period prior to free agency, see how much they dropped, and then make an offer if I feel like it's still possible. But I would like to get younger at these positions for sure. Now, David DeCastro is a very balanced lineman. If we take a look at his player card here, see his ratings, and they're very balanced. He isn't one thing over another. Run block and pass block, pretty even. Finesse and power, pretty even, which is why I really like him. With our +4 strength, he has 92 strength. Now, he's 32. He's going to regress during the offseason. How much? Not certain. But he could be a candidate that we bring back. Now, the one player I would like to re-sign, but not sure if I will, is Alexander Madison. He's going to be 25 years old, and currently he wants a little under $4 million a season for 4 years. That's a lot for a backup who really doesn't see the field that often. He plays really well, but he has the talent to be a starter elsewhere. So not certain if we're going to actually make an offer to him. As you can see here, if we offered this contract and he did sign, we would still have $76.1 million to sign other players. But we have to rebuild basically the entire backup team, offense and defense. The backups across the board are not good, and we need to improve those because whenever a player gets injured and another player comes in to take their spot, it's a glaring weakness. Anthony Barr, I've already told him we're done, not going to try to bring him back. He doesn't play that often currently. He's a every now and then guy. He comes in the base package, and honestly, you don't play in the base package that often in Madden. Plus, he's already regressing, and he will be 31. Garrett Bradbury, another one of those guys that he has some ability, but he's a one-sided guy. A lot of the Vikings offensive line is a one-sided guy. How much was he asking? 2 years, 13.8. We could maybe make it work, but honestly might be going into the offseason and seeing if people offer him, kind of what we do from there. Dalvin Tomlinson has made some plays here and there. He's asking for 2 years, $15.4 million. He will honestly probably regress he's going to be 29 years old. His strength is still pretty good, but block shedding and power moves is about what I would look to get in a draft if I drafted a defensive lineman. Of course, we have a lot of other guys in other positions we need to worry about, so defensive tackle isn't high on that list, but not sure he's someone that we would really want to bring back at about $7 to $8 million a season. Irv Smith is another one. I've told him that we're not going to re-sign him. He could go be a star at another team. Flanagan has taken his spot. Olabisi Johnson hasn't done anything, and he wants 3 years, $12 million. He's not going to get that from us. Armon Watts isn't good. He's not going to continue. He's going to be 27, only a 69. Same goes for most of these guys past here. Conley, we're not going to re-sign, didn't play well. Chris Boyd played awful. Udo, awful. Metellus, awful. LaMarcus Joyner His speed is a bit low. He's played all right for us this year. It might be a guy that we sign in free agency during the next season if we need to. Linval Joseph, he might end up retiring. We brought him in after half of our defensive line got injured. Miles Bryant we brought in because guys like Boyd and Hand were awful. He hasn't played much better either. So most of these guys we're going to see walk. There's a couple that we'll see what they do after we finish the season, after the regression hits, and then we'll readdress it. But that is what we're looking like for the re-signing players. If there's a certain player you would like for us to re-sign, let me know down in the comment section below. We'll chat about it. And now that we're all up to date on our free agency, or at least our players that might be entering that, it's time to beat down on some Packers, and I would love nothing more than to sweep Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers this year. First game of this year, we came out and we destroyed them at their house. And as you can see here, Aaron Rodgers not having a very great year. 15 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. He does have over 3,000 passing yards, but those interceptions can be killer, and that is what we're hoping for. We're coming off our bye. We're fully rested. Everyone is ready to go, and we need to come out here and put together a great game because our last game was awful. We did not play very well last week. We did not play very well in Week 11 prior to our Week 12 bye week. The Falcons came to town, and we just couldn't do anything. Offense or defense, we just played very poorly. So we need to make sure that we do not allow that. Kendricks is going to apply some pressure. He doesn't get it up, and this is going to be a touchdown. Not a great start. Not a great start. Aaron Rodgers had too much time. He found a guy. We put the hit on him. He didn't drop it, and he didn't get dropped. He spun it off and went for a 71-yard touchdown. Vikings now down to 7-zip. That's what happens. Well, at least the offense knows what we have to do, and that's go down and score. Taking a look here at the run blocking, and doesn't look too hot. Looks like the offensive line is going to have a rough day, but let's get the ball to the outside, get it to Cook. Gets us about 12 yards, steps out, 13 yards. We'll take it even better. And our plan this week is the deep pass. The ratings, at least rankings, not really ratings, I should say, this year for the Packers haven't been too hot in the passing game. We're going to toss that ball away as Saunders was just not able to find anyone open. We ended up having to scramble out, try to extend the play, didn't work. We'll come back here on second down for a run. That was close. We were very close, but 23 came in, got the tackle, only a gain of a few on that second down run. Of course, we don't want this to be a quick 4 and out, because we got the nice run on the previous first down, and that pass was just nowhere close. I honestly told him to throw that down and to the left, and he threw that up and to the right, but we're going to go for it. I'm going to bring DJ Chark in motion, hand the ball off to him, and there is a wide open space to run there. Gets the first down and more. I mean, when it's a rivalry week, why not? And I think I actually said it right that time. Rivalry week. Yep, nailed it. Didn't nail it there. Kiki comes in, gets the sack, loss of 1 on first down. And Saunders was getting up a little gingerly on that play, so let's switch it up a little bit. Try to avoid Saunders taking any hits. Going to run it down the middle here. Flag on the play. Most likely that's going to be a holding call. And that's what they call against David DeCastro, even after I hyped him up last week. Well, we gave Saunders at least a break for 1 down. As yeah, his stamina's already depleted pretty well. We're going to check the ball down here, get a decent chunk on second down to Jefferson. And as I've showed, when I've showed the line, a lot of the offensive line for the Vikings, they're more run blockers than they are pass blockers. Smith is really the only one that is a pass blocker. But we're going to find Flanagan for the first down. Gain of 20, roughly, as Rashad Gary comes up a bit shaken up on that play. Following that injury here, we're going to take a look over at Justin Jefferson. He has the release. He doesn't have the speed, so we'll see if he's able to do anything here. We're going to go for the corner of the end zone, and it's overthrown by about a yard or two. We've seen that a couple times with Saunders where he has a guy, it's close to a big play, but it's just not close enough. We're going to hand it off here to Dalvin. He's going to skirt forward for about a gain of 16, 17 yards. Give us a first down, averaging over 10 yards carry. And we'll go ahead and switch it over here to the CJ Ham formation, where we love to hand it off to him, see what he can carry. And he gets about 8-9 yards on that, setting us up at the 3-yard line. I'm going to try to do something a little bit different here. And we're going to try to set up our own play. See if we could find Flanagan on the outside. It seemed like he's getting open. We're just going to tuck it, run, get the touchdown. Saunders' first rushing touchdown, and I feel several weeks. I don't know if it was early in the season. No, he has one other rushing touchdown, but that'll at least get us tied with the Packers after their big play for their touchdown earlier. We march down the field, get a 4th down conversion, a couple chunks here and there, and we're now tied. Now, all right, defense. Offense went down, tied the game up. It's basically 0-0. Let's take 2 and have a better drive, because that first one was bad. First play, they get about a gain of 4, maybe 4.5 yards on the run there to Jones. And so far, better play. Wasn't a 70-some-odd touchdown pass, so we'll take it. Come out here in our double A gap look. They're going to set the run. Daniil tried to cut inside to get the tackle, but Aaron Jones goes a bit more outside and gets a nice gain, somewhere around 20 yards on that rush. And when the Vikings defense has been successful, they've been successful because they took away one aspect of an offense, whether that was running or passing. Here we get a nice stop on the rush, so hopefully that's a sign of what's to come. But last game against the Falcons, we couldn't stop the pass or the run, and we lost. We need to be able to stop one of the two here, and so far the run game has had some big plays and the pass game had a big play. So it's time for the defense to decide who is coming to play, and it doesn't look like their star receiver is either injured or is no longer here, and that's got to be past the line of scrimmage. That's got to. They still have Cobb, and he killed us earlier in the season, but they are missing one of their key guys. We take a look here at the injury chart here, the injury report, and it's just some linebackers that they're missing. I also checked their depth chart, and it does not look like Devontae Adams is still a Packer. I did not notice that in the first game, but maybe that's why we were able to have a bit more success as we get in for the sack. Wanham with another. Guess that's now going to give him 5 sacks on the season. He also has had a handful of tackles for a loss as well. Following that sack, Packers come out in an empty set. 3 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. Vikings going to spread out their line. And clock hits 0, ending the first quarter. We didn't even get to see what happens on that play. Coming out in a new formation for both sides to start the second quarter. And we're going to bring the heat. And I think we were able to maybe get a hand on that. I'm going to check here on the instant replay to see what happened with that pass. I sped by that way too quick. And it looks like if we zoom in here and make Rodgers disappear. If we go real slow here, just ease on the trigger. Yeah, I don't even know what happened there. Kind of came out funky and bounced off of Daniil's head, I think. Yeah, we're going to say that bounced off of Daniil's head. You know, when they tell a man to use his head, that's not necessarily what we're talking about, but we will take it. Gets the pass break up there on second down, setting up a 3rd and long. And they get a decent amount, but we got them down before the first down, bringing up a 4th and 8 at the 36. The Packers are going to set up to kick this. They're going to be kicking from about the 44-yard line, so it's going to be about a 54-yarder. It's looking like it might be shy, and it is shy. We'll go ahead and take over on downs. That field goal ended up coming up just about a yard, maybe 2 short, but we will take it starting from about the 44-yard line. Dalvin's going to cut in, get a gain of a couple there, getting us down to around the 46. And we've had success before when we took a little bit of the pressure off of Sanders, and that's about what we want to do here. Take a little bit of the pressure off. I definitely told Dalvin to juke to the outside, but he jukes to the inside, and we get close to that first down, so we will take it, come out in the ham formation. You know what we're doing. Giving the fullback a little love here. Give us the first down and a couple more. Plus, we're going to tack on 15 with that face mask. If you can't block Kenny Clark, just make sure he gives you a face mask penalty. And it looks like they're going to be bringing a bit of a rush on the Jefferson cover guy here. So that means we're going to change what we're doing, because we're going to roll out there instead. We're going to hand the ball off to Dalvin to the outside, get a little bit of cover, shake off Alexander, quickly brought down though by number 44. But yeah, definitely want to take a little bit of pressure off of Saunders, have the run game be a little bit more present, and then be able to hit him big for some of these play actions. As we have, that's Chark in the end zone, almost overthrown. He snags it, drags the feet. We're going up in this game 14-7 as we're going to chill out around the campfire. And I'm not going to lie, I definitely was worried that Saunders overthrew that pass. Chark able to make a nice catch, drag the toes, and give us the lead here as they end up checking it down to number 8, who gets out of bounds after a gain of about 3. And that is about what we want to happen with the offense, at least. Use the running game, get them to creep down a bit, and then hit them over the top. What we don't want to keep happening is these underneath routes that we keep getting beat on and Hughes after the run as well. That's happened too often, Rodgers to Rodgers on that play for a nice chunk, setting them up around the 44. There's definitely one area of the defense that I want to improve for next year is find out what is happening with our underneath coverage and how we can fix it. Smith does a great job shedding the block there and getting the tackle in the backfield. Loss of 1, but we will take it. And Harrison Smith doesn't have a very high block shedding. I want to say it's a 71, so a lot of our other players, they don't have excuses anymore of why they aren't shedding blocks. As they get a nice... Okay, he just went a little OP on me. Broke 3 tackles? Come on now. Tight end breaking 3 tackles. They come out in an empty set here. We're going to make a slight adjustment. And Kendricks is having to run down the field to try to cover his guy. And they will go to the other one. Harrison Smith not in the right position. Again, that Rodgers to Rodgers connection gets them a first down to the 25. I'd say so far this game, it's looking like the Packers are leaning more towards the passing game. They've definitely had some success running, but if we're going to win this game, we're going to need to stop the pass is what I was going to say, but Ferret beat. They get the touchdown there to number 88, going to tie this game up. That's Winfrey. I think he must be a rookie or something. Haven't heard of him before. But, yeah, tied up. About 7 seconds left before the 2-minute warning. Well, this offseason, our previous offseason, we went out to rebuild the defensive back crew. And in doing so, we have a lot of older guys. And maybe that's what's happening. We're in week 13 as we get a nice chunk there to Flanagan, heading to the 2-minute warning. But, yeah, the age might be our downfall in our secondary. They might just be running a bit out of gas as we're going to go back to the same play. Flanagan again with a nice catch, this time in a bit of tighter coverage. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe our DBs are just tired and that's why they keep getting beat. It seems like this is going to be a bit of a barn burner in this game as we're going to roll out, toss that pass away. But that's enough talk of the DBs. We'll talk about more of them when they're on the field. Right now, the offense is on the field, and we need a score. Going to hand it off to Dalvin. Kenny Clark is there to get the tackle, and KJ Osborne comes up. Not looking too good, holding the ankle, rolling around a bit. We'll see what ends up happening with him. KJ ended up being helped off the field, walking very gingerly on that ankle. We'll end up seeing what happened there. But in the meantime, Flanagan. And they're going to say he fumbled. He was definitely down. If they don't reverse that themselves, I'm going to be upset. Booth review. You know he was down. All ligaments. Take a look here. And we see, yeah, wrist, feet, elbow, shoulder, head. Yeah, everything's down. And there's the update that we get on KJ. Looks like he just had an ankle sprain. Now, I know ankle injuries are no fun, so we'll let him sit out for a little bit. Bring in Olabisi Johnson to be our number 4 guy here. We're going to come out in a bunch form to the left. Didn't find anyone open. Saunders is going to roll out, get close to the first down mark. They're going to mark us just shy. But we all know what we like to do on those just shy markings there. We're going to hand this off to Ham right down the middle. Get some good blocking. He's going to get a good game, but there is a flag down. And they're going to call holding. Christian Darrisaw over on the left-hand side. And that's going to back us up to the 18, giving us a 2nd and 9. Stay in the same formation here. And we have Flanagan in the corner. They're saying touchdown. I don't think his feet were in, but I will take it. Fantastic grab in the corner, but we're definitely going to get a second look at this. There's a good throw by Saunders, put it just where Flanagan could get it. I'm not sure if his feet were in before getting pushed out by Alexander, but that's a close one. And here comes the review. See if we can get a slow-mo of where those feet were. Because right there he's in, but when Alexander hits him, the feet slide over. Technically, he has it right there. I'm thinking that's a touchdown, but you never know with Madden. And they call it good. Another touchdown on the season for your young star tight end Flanagan. And I believe after this game, we're going to find out what his development trait is. Right now, I'm thinking he has to be at least a superstar. And with that touchdown grab in the corner, Flanagan puts us up 21-14, but there's still 47 seconds on the clock. And we've all seen what Aaron Rodgers can do with 47 seconds. And I could have made a joke there, but I'm not going to. They're going to get about 9 yards on that first down screen pass. 41 seconds left, and they still have 2 timeouts. I'm going to bring the press coverage here a bit, try to throw off some timing. And again, just a huge gap in coverage. We're just not playing tight enough. They're going to get a huge chunk and a timeout. 34 seconds left. They're down to the 49-yard line on the scoring side of the field. They do a nice job recognizing man coverage there. Send out Jones, and they get a nice play over the middle. Time to play a little bit aggressively here. Bring out the double A gap look. Bring the pressure. Daniil coming off the edge, and that's intentional grounding. I mean, you can't not call that. No one was in the middle. He just threw it straight down. 11 seconds left. We're going to bring the pressure again. Daniil Hunter there. Wanham also supplied the pressure. We're going to wrap this first half up right here. 4th and 8. Daniil Hunter being a leader here, doing what he does best. But that's definitely the opposite of our game here. Rivalry week, Packers, Vikings. Vikings currently up 21-14, and we get the ball to start the half. Not a great return there by Nwangwu. We will start at the 24. And hey, we went into halftime leading in the running game. Let's continue off on that same foot here with a nice run to the outside. Try to stay behind the tight ends. Quickly, though, the linebackers close in. We'll stay out in that same formation here. See if we can get lucky. See if we could squeak Lucas out on a wheel route. And... oh, that was a close one. I was thinking we would get that ball there before the corner could come back. Turns out we're past the line of scrimmage anyway. They call that on us, but not on Aaron Rodgers on that touchdown pass? That's suspicious. That's suspect. That was what I was trying to say. With that penalty puts us in a bit of a hole, but we know what's worked well in this game so far, and we're going to go right back to it, see if we can make something happen. And it didn't work. Didn't work. It's another interception on the year for Saunders. Adrian Amos comes over and gets that pick. We wanted to go to Flanagan, but they had that pretty well covered. Tried to get it off the step to Chark there, but Chark just doesn't ever try to go for those contested passes. We really need to stop throwing them. With that pick, it sets up the Packers in easy range. We've seen them already score from 70-plus yards in this game. Now they just have to go 29. They're going to start off with a pass here. Looks like Rodgers is going to roll out, draw in the defense. Cobb makes a couple players miss, and now they're down to the 8. This was definitely the opposite of what we were hoping would happen when we got the kick after the halftime. And there's I don't even know what happened there. We had a guy in the backfield, but he was not aware of what was happening, and we are going to gamble here, and we're just going to call a run up the middle, which is what happens. But man, blocking does perfectly, picks up everybody. We arrive late, and Jones is into the end zone to tie this game. Well, what would be a good rivalry game without it being close, neck and neck the whole way? It's what it's looking like here as we hand it off to Dalvin. Gets about 8 yards. And there's a lot of pressure not only on this game, but on every game we have for the rest of the season. We are currently tied in our overall for wins and losses on the season with Seattle, but they were given the edge. They have the first round bye currently. And if we could keep our winning going, we could hopefully overtake Seattle and build up a bit of a game built up. I'm not sure what I'm talking about here. Build up a lead in terms of our overall from them to try to secure that. But every game counts, and this game is close. We need to keep our lead in the NFC North, but also regain our lead in the NFC just in general. Luckily, we have the ever so reliable Ham there to give us the first down on that 3rd and short. We're going to find the open Adam Thielen underneath. Tries to make a guy miss. He does break the tackle, but is quickly wrapped up. But we'll take the first down. Trying to come out here with some new looks that we haven't done all too often. See if we could fake out the Packers a bit and get a nice chunk play. We're going to find Justin Jefferson across the middle. Going to take us down to about the 25-yard line. And one good thing that I could say we've done this year is the fact that we've spread the ball around. We don't have one guy who's definitely our go-to. And 20 is not one of them. We don't want to throw picks, Saunders. That should have been an easy completion, but no. Hughes comes crashing down, jumps in front of Madison, gets the pick. Well, we've had some good games. We've had some bad games. Right now, this is not looking like a great game for Saunders. Has had multiple turnovers, and we miss a tackle in the backfield with a big hit from Harrison Smith. Comes up empty, and they get a gain of 7 on that first down run. It's time for a big play from our defense, whether that's a sack, forced fumble, interception, something. We need it big here, and they're just going to find the open guy. They've done a very good job of just getting the yards that we give them, and we've been giving them a bit too much, not really applying the pressure when needed. You get a decent hit there. Could have been bigger, could have forced a fumble, but we'll take the loss of 2. Whatever we can get to help bring a little life to this team, I think is extremely necessary. Going to come out here. Again, they're going to hand it off, and we're going to get him in the backfield. Again, maybe a loss of 1, maybe 2. They're going to say a loss of nothing. I don't know about that, but hey, good tackle in the back there from Danielle Hunter. And now on 3rd and 2, we need to be precise here. We can't just let Rodgers scramble, distract us, and then find an open receiver. Or just not tackle. That Rodgers to Rodgers connection goes for a touchdown. Defense struggling in the second half of the season. Well, offense, you know what you need to do. You know what your task is, and we just got to hope that you can figure it out. Because right now the defense is not providing the plays that we need. Of course, we're running out of time on the play clock here, trying to make our custom play. We find Jefferson. He ends up dropping it. And we were going to run down the middle. We're going to change it to a slightly different run down the middle. Hope we get the blocking that we need. We do. Dalvin makes one guy miss. Thielen doesn't get the block we needed, but we'll take the first down. And we're going to take the snap here. Oh, so close to a chunk play on the last play of the third quarter, but we'll head into the fourth for our second down. And so far, this formation has given us some of our best plays of the game, so we're going to stay in it, see what we could find. Dalvin gets a few, not as much as I was hoping. And on 3rd and 7, going to stay on that in that same formation. 2 receivers to the left. We got Flanagan and Chark. We find Thielen, who's streaking down the sideline. One guy to beat, tries the back juke, but does end up getting tackled about at the 25-yard line. However, 19 yards after that catch, we'll take it, setting us up for hopefully a scoring drive. There is not much room left in this game for errors. We need to tie the game, force a turnover or a stop, and get ourselves the lead back. Dalvin doing what he can, making some players miss, breaking some tackles. Hopefully that ends up helping us get into the end zone here. Would really like to see Cook run a wheel route to the other side, but we don't have the option to change that. Just going to roll out here. Going to dump it off. See if Jefferson can make a guy miss. We'll go out at the 5. It's pretty simple. We just need 5 yards. Come out here in our heavy tight end set. Not seeing anything. Going to roll out. Going to run for it, and he squeaks in. Going to tie this game up 28-28 with about 5 some odd minutes left in the fourth quarter. The Packers have been able to stay in this game by finding chunk plays and their defense forcing turnovers. If we could force a turnover, that might be the end of the game. We don't see it there, but one of Dantzler's biggest hits, but they get a first down. I know what we need, and that is a Danielle Hunter sack fumble. Unfortunately, Rodgers in the zone right now, so it'd be hard to force that as he's going to find any open receiver. Or just find room to scramble. I tried to get off the block with Wanham, but not able to. Rodgers is able to scramble there and get a gain of 8. We're going to check our play here, as we could definitely tell this is going to be a pass. And they're able to throw that away from Kendricks. Tried to break on it, but great placement there from Rodgers. We need to force something here to throw off the timing, get Rodgers out of the zone. And we kind of get a good play there. Maybe gets back to the line of scrimmage. They're going to say it was actually a gain of 1 on that rush. We're just going to see what we could do here. Kendrick's going to try to help support the inside. And they're just taking these underneath routes because they know we can't stop it. We're going to do a little bit of a gamble here. Going to send a blitz. And Harrison hits home quite literally with the big hit there on Jones. Ends up forcing a 4th and 2, and he's doing some dance from when he was a young man. Bringing up a 4th and 2 with just over 2 minutes left in this game, and they're not in field goal range. And they're going to come out here in a punt formation. However, I don't trust them. I'm going to run a bit of a punt man here. They do go ahead and punt the ball away. Looks like that's going to go out pretty good range for us at the 31-yard line, giving us just under 2 minutes left. Get down the field and at least get a field goal, win this game, and sweep the Packers. I'm going to come out here to see what formation the Packers end up coming out in. We have DJ Chark and Nwangwu set at the receiver spot, and we're going to hit him with the jet sweep, try to use their speed, get a few yards, get out of bounds, and that's what we see there. Gain of 6 on first down. Of course, we can't waste too much time. We still need to get down into range, but we also want to limit some possible turnovers, keep the ball out of Saunders' hands as much as we can, but a flag is not going to help us. That's going to be holding on Justin Jefferson, a guy who's not even involved in the play. Harsh called there. We're going to come out here with a play action rollout. We're going to find Flanagan, who catches the ball and gets down before getting hit by Alexander. That was a close one. Made me sweat a little bit there, even though I'm technically the one that hit the play. We're now down to the 47-yard line. Just under a minute and a half left in this game. We're just going to hand it off to Dalvin. They're just holding him up, letting the time tick away. We're down to the 42. Now with just over a minute left, of course, we still have all 3 of our timeouts. And we got a few yards that we need to gain to get down into field goal range. With that carry there from Madison, we're getting close. Clock now ticking down. 40 seconds left. 3rd and 2. We're going to hand it off to Ham, who gets the first down and more. Almost broke that last tackle. And the Packers are going to start calling their timeouts. The game is coming close to an end here. We need to avoid any and all mistakes. Going to keep the ball on the ground here. Follow our tight ends. Dalvin makes a couple guys miss. Down to the 17. Packers not even using their timeouts. Down to about 10 seconds left. Going to hit one more running play here. Try to cut back in. Stay close to the inside. Let this tick down. And we will call our timeout. And it doesn't look like... Oh, there it is. There's the timeout from the Packers. About to say, it doesn't look like they're going to try to ice Q, but came in just as I was about to say it. And the Vikings were in this same position a couple weeks back. This time they're a bit closer. They're at home. Let's see if Q can do it for them. Ball's up, right down the middle again. The Minnesota Vikings sweep the Packers on the season. Help extend their lead in the NFC North. Get them back in the win column. And hopefully we'll get them back into the first position in the NFC. As you see here, Packers passed all over us. We did a fairly good job in the running game, only 51 yards. We ran for over 150. Passing kind of hit or miss. We've had some turnovers, but we also had some good passing plays, especially the one to Flanagan in the corner. Definitely have some things we need to tighten up. And following that game, we get a much-needed upgrade here. I would love to go with... Actually, we can go for improviser because it does have that deep accuracy. And it's what I would love Saunders to be, the archetype of an improviser. We get throw power +1, throw under pressure +1, throw on the run +1, and throw accuracy deep, which is what we need for him. Take a look over at the ratings. You can see that his throw accuracy deep is his lowest, a 79, which is where he's barely missing those passes. But throw power now up to a 92, speed 78, 88 acceleration. He has the ability to be a really good quarterback for us. Fortunately, right now, still a normal dev. Hopefully after the season, that jumps up to star, maybe even superstar, but doing pretty well. And as we sim on over to the next week, the screen jumps around a little bit for some reason, but let's take a view at the playoff picture. And unfortunately, we are still behind Seattle. They must have won their last game. It's going to be neck and neck the whole way. If we lose one game or if they lose one game, that's probably going to be the difference. But right now, it has us going against the Packers in the wild card round. And as we look into the next week here, we have the Miami Dolphins, who I don't remember if they were in the previous week. I didn't manage to look over. Yep, they're the number 4 seed in the AFC. So another playoff team that we are set to play against. Currently, they're 7-5. They have a pretty good defense who's really boosted their overall. Offense isn't too great. Our offense is our best rating at the 83. Of course, we've seen them struggle, but they tend to play fairly consistently in the terms of when they do make mistakes, they typically come back and make up for them. The defense, however, is struggling right now. Luckily, they'll be going up against Miami, who's just a 77 offense. Hopefully, that is in our favor, but you're going to have to stick around to check that out. Looks like we have 5 games left with that new Week 18, so we're getting close to the end of this season. The playoff race is going. We're close to being the top in the NFC. If you guys want to make sure to stick around to make sure that we are getting that top seed or where we end up playing in the playoffs at this point, you could say fairly certain that we're going to the playoffs. But make sure you guys are sticking around. Hit that like button. comment something down below. You could just type in Skol Vikings, or if there's a certain player you guys would like some more information on how they've done this season, if there's a player you want gone after this season, player to bring in, let me know all that stuff down below. We'll have a chat about it. But yeah, if you're enjoying this, please do let me know. I'm enjoying bringing these to you. And until next time, hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time. Bye.